I just hit start. So some people are coming in right now.
Cool.
Um, I always try to like Joe Rogan start it, like where they're mid-conversation.
Does that mean in the middle of it, I'll just get up to go to the bathroom and you'll keep rolling and
Not too many people do that. Surprise for a 3 hour show. I would have to go like 7 times. So that's always the shocking part to me. Brian, I'm excited to have you on today. We're going to be talking about some really fun stuff. I've been looking forward to this webinar now. I think we planned it 2 or 3 months, maybe 3 months ago, and I feel like I never do that with my webinars. They're usually a little more last minute. So, have you been thinking about all the landing page design stuff?
I have. It's been on my mind. It's been motivated me to create some additional content around it.
Yeah.
And just for my own excitement, this is going to be a very nice um, teardown of the landing pages. But I've been watching some Comedy Central roasts
Oh,
to get
okay.
motivated for it.
I think that's great. We love to roast, but we're going to be kind. We're not going to be too mean.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice roast.
That's awesome. Jump into our chat, you guys. Welcome to our October webinar where we are going to be talking about marketing, specifically your marketing. A lot of schools submitted their TikToks and Instagrams for us and landers and websites. So we're going to be bringing those up. We're going to be sharing best practices with you and then jump in our chat. Becky says she loves your LinkedIn content. Brian, that's a great place to,
Thank you.
with you. You are a LinkedIn influencer in higher ed, I would say. Why don't you go ahead and because I think a lot of our beauty school community does not know you, so go ahead and introduce yourself to our group.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining the compliment, Becky. Um, I know that YouTube's going to take this and use it, so there might be some keyword stuffings that the algorithm knows how to place us. You never like to refer to yourself as an expert because it means that you're not. But if we're speaking to the algorithms, lead generation, lead nurturing expert, performance marketing, what does that mean? That we want to basically help boost enrollments through our digital marketing efforts. Um, and I'm just trying to also be an educator in our space on what that is and how we can do it and how we generate more enrollments for your schools.
I love it. So, Brian works for one of my favorite agencies in the space, MDT Marketing. They're a super fun group. They're out of Florida. We see each other at all the shows. And Brian also has just a really great personal brand and wanting to share his expertise. So I'm excited to get into today's webinar. Alan mentioned in our comments, yes, we have a Christmas background, which tells me maybe you weren't on last month's webinar because I also had it last month. So embarrassing, but I'm a TikToker and we got to get in that Christmas merch early and start selling it. So I did my office up with a bunch of, it's not in my living room. It is just staying here in my office. But I put away the pillows just because it was getting a little too Christmassy. And I had a fall party last night. I had a Thanksgiving party last night. So I didn't want too much Christmas out, but yeah, thanks for noticing it. All right, let's jump in and talk about landers versus homepage. So I'm going to ask Brian some questions to start. We're going to kind of, chat about, give you guys some best practices. Then I'm going to give you some social best practices, and then we're going to get straight into audits where I'm going to share my screen, share actual TikToks, share actual landers. Brian is going to roast them Comedy Central style. And then feel free to join us in the comments where we can look at your stuff too. So, Brian, I think a lot of schools do not know the difference between a lander and a homepage. A lot of their Google ads are going straight to their homepage or a program page. I see it over and over and over again. Tell me why that's a terrible idea, and then and then tell us what a landing page is.
Okay, yeah. So the difference between a landing page and a website is your website's going to have multiple goals. There's multiple your current students or your prospective students. There's so many more that your website has to appeal to. But a landing page can be designed for a very specific intent. So we just use one example, say it's paid search, and there's a keyword that they're searching for, and then we're going to tailor the ad to that, and then make sure that the landing page matches the intent of the ad, of the keyword, and that there's not many other places for them to go. They came with a very specific intent. If they want more information from admissions, the call to action on the landing page is going to be request information, speak to admissions, request information, things like that, which you can be more specific on a specific landing page rather than the website, which could cater to uh, multiple goals.
So anytime a school is doing lead generating content for maybe like even where they're directing in their Facebook bio, a TikTok bio, should that be pointing to a lander kind of about that company and grabbing leads? Or do you think that's more specific to just PPC on Google?
I would say it is going to be more specific to paid. If I'm just riffing here, and I know that this might be more on your end, if we're talking organic content, there's Linktree. So if you have
Yeah.
multiple places you can send them, and in that specific message, you can direct them to a landing page. It's going to be the call to action that you have on social. That's an option. Um, it actually depends on your post and what the call to action is. You can
I
send them to
would
a
agree
landing
with,
page
yeah,
if
I
it's
would
more
agree with
brand.
you. Yeah. Well, also, Brian, if it's in your bio, here's the thing with schools, specifically beauty schools, half the traffic goes to the salon site, which a lot of people don't realize. Half the people on your website are just searching services because they want to come to your school to get a $10 haircut. They're never intending to go to your school to go to school. And so I think if your social channels under website has your homepage, that will help direct your audience to the right area of your website. But I'm with you. Like, I think it depends on maybe what the post is, especially like in stories where you can like add specific links. If you are trying to generate leads and you are trying to get more students in your school, you're gonna want to send them to a lander so they're not overly distracted. Go ahead and give us then some best practices on a lander, and that, before we actually
Yep.
choose them.
So the biggest caveat that we're going to give out of the gate is A/B testing. There's very few hard, fast rules. Everything can be tested. Everything should be tested if you have the ability, especially if it's not completely intuitive. And what I mean by that, and some best practices, as a general rule, we want to remove the friction from the time that a prospective student lands on the page and how they're able to connect. So even something as simple as looking at your keypads on the form. So if someone's filling out a phone number, having the numerical keypad. Now, you wouldn't need a test to know that that would intuitively be better user
Oh my
experience
God,
for to help them
pause.
fill out the
Like,
form.
how annoying is that when you bring up a lead form on your phone and in the phone number thing, it brings up like the full keypad of all the letters. And then you have to hit on the very bottom corner, the number sign, and then it brings up the numbers at the top. And then your fingers hit the wrong stuff. Like, that is 101 to me. But so many schools are making that mistake.
You know what? You're even better than me. I'm trying to long press on letters to get the numbers and
Wait, what?
yeah, yeah,
Off
your way is
press?
much better.
That one's new to me. Okay, so this is simple, you guys. Literally bring out your phones, go to your website, bring up your lead form, and click the box where you put the phone number in. Does the phone number pad come up, or does it give you the full keyboard? And that's an easy change on the back end, right? I'm assuming. I don't actually know.
Yeah, yeah. Depending how technical you want to get.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just basically assign the form input field to being a phone number.
Okay,
It's
so
pretty
that
much
right
that
there,
simple.
yeah, easy best practice. Can we go back to A/B testing for our
Yeah,
group here who
yeah.
might not know what split testing is? So go ahead and explain what that is.
Oh, this is exciting. Okay, so basically we can set it up. If we use the current page as it is now, we call that the champion. And then if we want to add just an A/B test, a new variant, which would be the challenger, and we would split the traffic so that every time someone comes to the landing page, they're going to be served up the original version, the champion or the challenger. And we basically see how they convert on each side and determine a winner and start the next test.
And how long do you think a good split test is?
That's a great question. And it's going to be related to the traffic that you're receiving and the size that you are. You want to reach statistical significance, which is more important necessarily than the time. We can get into a whole webinar on that alone. Um, I would say 2 weeks to a month, depending on size. But
Mhm.
more importantly, once you reach statistical significance. So if it's earlier, if it's a week, that's fine too.
Perfect. Okay. And, that's funny because I think that's something schools might do on landers, but they don't do it on their home site. I see a lot of schools create their website and they haven't touched it for 4 years. It's literally the same content. And they're so focused on landing pages and content, social content, that they just forget to split test their
Yeah.
own website. So let's talk about a couple things you can split test that you would see as a best practice.
Yeah, sure. There's a this comes up a lot, and you'll uh form fields, number of form fields. So there's this common thought between quality and quantity. The shorter the form, higher the quantity, but lower the quality.
Yeah,
So that if there's thoughts in that, I think that's a good test. So, and just to give more of an explanation on what that means, short form, I'm thinking the minimum contact info for admissions to get in touch. So
yeah,
first, last, phone number, email, maybe zip code. And
yeah.
then if we're talking long form, you're going to have address, um, uh,
How soon are you
how
looking
did you
for
hear
a
about us?
school? Do you
Yeah.
have a
When do you
high
want to
school
start? What term?
diploma? Yeah. Almost like vetting them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, what about a multi-step form?
Yeah, that would be closer to um moving into like comfort of best practices. So if you are committed to a longer form, definitely multi-step, break it up, show a progress bar
Yeah.
for where they are in that process. Um,
Easy questions first, like which program are you interested in? And then at the end, it's like, all right, well, I've already done all the work. Fine, here's my phone.
right, might as well give you my yeah, exactly.
Cool. We did a split test with a client, elite cosmetology school. They're in California, and we split tested just the color of their CTA button because it was
Yeah.
blue, and I just thought that that was. I mean, this was last year in the year of the Barbie movie, and I was like, I think we should make it pink, and I was wrong. So like the which I thought it was a great idea, but I was like, what if we did like a magenta pink? And so, like any idea you have, you split test. You just don't run with it. And so we did split test it, and the blue performed 3 times better than the pink. Like it was pretty dramatic over 45 days. And I was like, oh, sorry about that, guys. But also really, really good to know. And so I feel like sometimes schools, they think they know what's best. This is the good headline. This is such a catchy little phrase. This is such a great photo. When it's like, maybe you could be right. But I also think that you should split test it.
Right. Some of it is going to be dependent on brand guidelines, and when we look at the landers, we'll be able to get into those specifics. To
Yeah.
your point with the blue and the pink, and at full disclosure here, when we do testing, it's it's nuanced, it's specific to what we need at that time. So there's certain rules that have been I had isolated tests that we're able to reference that we might combine in a a design template test versus an old template. So there's it's hard to give specific numbers to each of these kind of steps, but
Sure.
back in a while ago now, where I'd be interested to see if there was an update on it. That a blue CTA compared to a red CTA was significantly more. Like the blue was as a best practice at one point, but I suspect, given that that data was out there, that that might change. It might be different by industry.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe
the
just like the overall look and feel of the website and the colors and like what stands out as a button. Like if everything is kind of like muted and looks the same, if the whole website is blue and then you have a blue button,
won't work.
yeah, probably not a great idea. Maybe red would perform better in that case. So I think it is kind of, it does depend. And I'm really big also, you guys, on testing what that verbiage is on the actual button. Like a get more info now, give me answers. Brian, what do you think the best CTA button is? What does it say?
The one that most matches your goal and their goal. So for instance, if it's get info,
Yeah.
they're looking for info. They get to an ad that tells them click here for, or you're not gonna put click here in an ad, but basically get info today.
Yeah.
One that creates urgency,
Mhm.
um, and is descriptive of what they came for and what they're going to get, and matching that CTA in the form to what you had in the ad.
I think that's great. Also, another reason why I love when schools work with agencies that are used to working in the higher ed space, in the vocational school space, because we can really share from each other the best practices. If you get someone who's never had a school client and they're your agency, they might not know these little things that Brian's talking about because MDT has, a lot of different educational clients. So, um, you know, I think that's really good info. Let's go ahead and I think before I show Landers, let me give a couple TikTok best practices because we're sharing the space here. Let's go. Okay. Um, all right, guys, y'all have sent me in your TikToks, and I am a TikTokaholic. So obviously, I've already been scrolling TikTok for years and looking to see what everyone's doing. And a lot of schools follow me. And so when they do, I follow them back so they can show up on my FYP, known as my For You page. Okay, so the biggest mistake I am seeing, the biggest mistake, hands down. And when I show you examples, every single one of these schools is doing it. Stop taking your Instagram content and reposting it exactly like it is on TikTok. Stop it. It's not good for several reasons. These are very, very different platforms. Instagram is, think of Instagram like your own little club. These are my people. This is my students, and this is my students' friends, and this is for our alumni. It's more like sharing day to day what's going on. Think about TikTok like these are all strangers. Everyone who sees my content might not be my future student tomorrow. It might not even be my students today. These are just entertainment type of content that's going to get people watching it. And so what I am seeing is there are some schools literally taking like their Halloween flyer from Instagram and they're just throwing it up on TikTok. Why? Why are you just putting an image of a flyer on TikTok? That's not how TikTok works. Just because you have 200 followers doesn't mean those 200 followers are going to see it. You want thousands of people to see it. The best thing about TikTok, as opposed to Instagram, is that strangers see your content. So on Instagram, the people who follow you see your content. That's who sees it. On TikTok, anyone can see your, anyone will see it on their FYP, on their For You page. So you need to be thinking more like, what is going on in the space that's relevant? How can we be entertaining? What kind of music trends are going on? Another thing I see why that's such a mistake is some of them still have like the Reels icon on their Instagram, and then they're putting that on TikTok. And TikTok knows you have the Reels icon, and they're not going to push that out because they're a completely different platform. So stop doing that. Another thing is just the way it looks. And I'm going to give you an example of this. But TikTok on the right-hand side has a place where you can add a comment, a place where you can like it, a place where you can share it. So the real estate is taken up on the right-hand side with a bunch of stuff. And then at the bottom, you have a caption that's pretty big, like it takes up a lot of the real estate on the bottom. So when you create content on TikTok, you need to leave the left side open and all the middle. But the problem is when you create content on Reels, the whole thing is open. And so what schools are doing is they're adding text on their Reels, on their Instagrams at the bottom of the screen. And then when they throw it up on TikTok, it's being covered up by all that TikTok stuff. And so you don't actually see the text. Another way you can really hack the system on TikTok that, again, this is why you should not be pulling your information across, is that if you're gonna use the same video, take the raw video, put it on TikTok, and actually type in with TikTok text, the text that you had on Instagram. Hope that makes sense. Again, I'm gonna show you examples, but how the TikTok algorithm works is almost, I mean, it's SEO hacking. So they're going to push your content out depending on what your caption says and what the words on the screen say. But if you're just pulling an already developed video from Instagram and you're throwing it up on your TikTok, they don't know what the words on the screen says because you didn't use their text features. So once again, that to me is like the biggest problem I see. And literally I audited dozens of different TikToks. And that was the number one mistake I saw. When you create a TikTok account, you can create it as a business or as a person, as a creator. Brian, what do you think schools should do? Do you know the answer?
I do. Do you want me to spoil it?
I'm interested to see what
I
you say.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I learned that from the queen of Gen Z strategy or Gen Z outreach strategy, Jen Lyles, in that you
Oh,
want to do
okay.
it as a creator.
And do you know why you want to do it as a creator?
Um, why is that? I think there might have been that you get served more, or or it's less having to pay. Or
It
do
is
I have that right?
audio. You
Oh,
cannot
that's
use
right. The
trending audio.
royalty
If
free.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. If you are set up, if your account is set up like a business, you cannot use trending audio. Um, However, if you're set up like a creator, you cannot create ads. You can only do ads through a business. So this is where schools are like, well, I want to use TikTok for ads. Don't. You're not going to do good at it. Like I'm telling, there's no other way to say that. You're going to suck at ads. If you can't get more than 1,000 views on your regular TikToks, you're not going to get 1,000 views on your ads. Don't even think about ads. Spend your money on Google and on Facebook and on Instagram. Don't even think about TikTok for ads. Stop it. Get that out of your head. Oh, that's where my people are. Cool. Then create organic content over there. Stop thinking about ads on TikTok. If I were a school, I would create a creator account on TikTok. I would start to build a following. I would start to build up a way to, I guess, a way to go viral. I would start to get more eyes on my content. And guess what you can do on TikTok, y'all? You can go back and forth. So if you're seeing some really good viral content and you're like, I think we want to do some ads now after a few months, cool. Go to your settings and switch your account over to a business, and then you can do it. But do not start your account with 0 followers and just a few views on your page and just do ads. I think it's a huge mistake. I think it's a waste of your money. Unless you have a giant budget, great. Do some for brand awareness. I just wouldn't spend my money on TikTok right now because you can go viral without spending money on an ad. What are you guys telling clients? I'm sorry if you're like, no, go make ads on TikTok.
No,
I'd love
no.
to hear what your agency says.
We do TikTok, and I wouldn't be able to speak to what we're telling clients more than just general uh, digital marketing, performance marketing knowledge. And to your point, that it's an even playing field on TikTok. So if you're not, if the, so there's, we should probably explain the difference between the interest graph and the social graph, where social graph, it's based on what your friends and being able to build an audience and followers. On TikTok, interest graph, it doesn't matter. So if you're making good resonant content, you'll have the ability, regardless of your following, to go viral. And if
Mhm.
you're not going viral, means the content isn't working on TikTok. So why put money behind it and
Yeah.
amplify it when it wasn't good to begin with? So I think it's a great
Yeah. And I
suggestion.
honestly think the quality of lead would be terrible anyway. They probably hardly convert. So I wouldn't focus on it. Rebecca put in the chat, aren't copyright implications on trending audio? Are there copyright implications using trending audio if you're a business? Yes, there are. That's why I said, do not sign up as a business on TikTok. If you sign up as a creator, you can use all of the trending audio sounds. You are fine. There are no implications. Um, you will have a problem if you download that content and you put it up on Instagram with the Sabrina Carpenter song behind it. So that's why I say, like, use the audio sounds from Instagram on Reels, use the audio sounds from TikTok on TikTok. And my guess is if you put it on YouTube, it's going to get taken down. Is that right? You're more of a YouTube person.
YouTube has their own YouTube library of royalty free music, and yes, depending on the music, it could get taken down.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into a few audits. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully share my screen correctly. I'm moving slow. All right, while that's loading, let me just go ahead and bring up my PowerPoint. While we are on, okay, let's chat about this. This is the Academy of Hair Design. They were the first school that wanted to be audited. So let's go. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Okay. Did that sound come across?
It was a little bit choppy on my end.
Hold on. Let me reshare and make sure I did the sound correctly. Because I'm going to need sound for this. Oh, share sound. There we go. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad. Okay. What did they do? They did this right. They took a trending audio and they made it funny. And that right there is a trending audio on TikTok. And they, did something in their school with educators. The problem is, I don't know if you can see this. On the left-hand side, there is the TikTok hair design. And then on the right-hand side is a girl named Kaylee Graham. What Academy of Hair Design does a lot is they take something from a student, they download it, and then they re-upload it. Do not do that. That is not the way you grow views by reposting in that way. You should be liking things, you should be commenting on them, but I would not, if I were you, do that, because I guarantee you Kaylee has way more views than the school does. What you want to do, and this is a screenshot for mine. Who else is watching Love is Blind? Steven is a monster.
Tiffany.
Your wife. It's not the best season, but there's some crazy people casted. Anyway, that's Love is Blind in the background. Okay, so if you scroll up from like the bottom of the video, like the different calls to action, you will see, or if you hit the share button, you will see the repost. That is where you can repost people's content. And so when you go to someone's profile, you can see the videos they've shared and you can see all of their reposts. So that is what I would do with all of your student content. Anytime your students are doing videos, repost it, comment on them, like it, engage with it. Do not download it and repost it. Huge mistake. Now, what you can do is have your students create a TikTok, save it, and send it to you, and then they don't post it, or maybe they do, and then you repost it on yours. So it looks like fresh content without already having the TikTok watermark on it. Hope that makes sense. Let's go to T-Spa Buffalo. And then we're going to open up then I'm going to take a break and we're going to get to Landers. Okay, T-Spa and several T-Spas have given, they wanted to be audited. So thank you, because you all have different pages, which is helpful. What T-Spa did was they pinned their top videos. That is what a lot of people, you can pin up to 3 videos. All you do is like hold down on it and you hit pin. What a lot of creators do is they pin their most viewed videos. If you have 1 million, views on something, you're pinning that. It's showing clout. You should do that. I don't think they have enough views for that to be clout. One of them has almost 12,000 views. I would pin that one. I would unpin the other 2 because those numbers aren't as impressive. And then I would pin something that describes your school, even if it only has 7 views. So a lot of creators do this. If you follow like influencers, they'll have a video. Like, let's say my niche on TikTok is, I'll go with a former one, being child-free by choice. And all my content is about being child-free by choice, but I also have like TikTok shop videos and other stuff in there. I would have one video that's like, hey, I'm Jen. If you're new to my page, follow me. I do a lot of content about being child-free by choice. These are the 3 reasons I chose not to have children, whatever. There's my video. I'm going to pin it so that as I'm getting followers and people come to my page, they can see my pin video talking about who I am. So that is what I would do if I were any school. I would create a video today that like top level talks about what you do, students you serve, you know, a little bit about your culture, and then I would post it. You might not get a ton of views on it, but pin it. That's like your about page on your website. It's like, it's better than having a bio. So that's one thing I would do. I would also, okay, another thing about this one. Oh, the Instagram content. You can see that there's a lot of Instagram content directly on here. So this is a perfect example. The right-hand side, that came from their Instagram. That came from Reels. They literally took that video and put it on TikTok. You can see that it's that same text that came from Instagram. It's clearer on Instagram because it's native to Instagram. What they should have done was taken that raw video, slapped it up on TikTok, and used actual TikTok text. This is, I don't want to say it's lazy, but it is lazy. It's making things easier for you. Cool. We made a reel. Let's put it on TikTok. You cannot think that way. You just can't. It really doesn't take much longer to download a video right before you post it without the text on it and then put it on a new platform. I hope that makes sense, and I hope it's helpful. And then don't do flyers and pics. Make it all video content. Okay, let me jump over to the chat. What if you make an edited video on TikTok, but only post it to Instagram? Sometimes the sound shows, but other times it doesn't. Okay, so if you make a video on TikTok and then you're not posting it to TikTok, you're just putting it on Instagram. A lot of times people use TikTok for the editing features. You always want to grab sound from whatever platform you're using. Always. Don't ever mix them. Always grab your sound from Instagram if you're posting on Instagram. Always grab your sound from TikTok if you're grabbing from TikTok. That is literally, if you learn nothing today, learn that, because there's just too much of the crossovers between the platforms, and I wouldn't do it. Okay. Let's take a break on that, and let's open up some landers. Whew, we're going quick. Half of this webinar is over. All right. Here's one for us.
Okay. A lot I can work with on this one.
This is a
So
website, right? This isn't the lander, or is it?
yes. No, it looks like the website.
Okay.
And one of the first things I would point out in the differences between a landing page and a website would be, we want to remove that top nav. We want to have a place where they can instantly convert. So actually, here's a tip for the website itself. Number in the top right. If you want phone calls, make sure the number is in the top right, right above that where the apply now button is.
Okay.
If we're going to have a form,
Let's find the form. Let's find it. No form on the website, on the homepage.
there's a chat. So there's credit there. If so, we mentioned, it's funny that we mentioned the color red before.
Too many clicks. Too many clicks. Oh, there's not even a request info. It literally jumps straight to an application. Okay, that's probably a huge problem. There's a lot of people, I would say for the most part, no one wants to go straight into applying. They need to get to know you. They want to get some info. So you need a lead form.
Agreed. And oh God.
I think this is, I'm going to bring up their, I think this is their lander. And I have a couple websites loading. Okay, do you have anything else on the homepage?
I was just going to say, in the context that we mentioned before, like, what was I supposed to do when I got here? Why, if I just ended up here, what is the action I'm supposed to take? Do I
Yeah.
know that immediately from when I get here? And I wouldn't, because it's the homepage.
Okay. All right. I do have their lander. So let's go to that.
Okay. Um, Similar recommendations. I'd remove the nav, the top nav at the across the
About
top.
us, the program, too many
Yes,
ways to distract. Uh-huh.
exactly. I'd have the form right on there. So probably right where the, if we scroll back up to the top, the CTA would be probably at the top of the laptop there. Would be the probably not apply. It would be a probably request information now.
Mhm.
Um, Again, if you want a phone number, I'd probably put it where the apply now is. And something interesting, the natural line of sight is the Z pattern. So they would,
Huh.
the first thing they're going to see is the logo in the top left. They're going to come across to where I'm suggesting to put the phone number. Then they're going to go diagonally across the screen. And I have a second camera here, so hang on. And they're going to read September 2024, 25 admissions, and then come right back to that laptop. So
Where this guy is then, that's where there should be a lead form right here.
yeah, he's in prime real estate for where that lead form would be.
Absolutely. Someone asked in the chat, what do you do with the nav? You don't have a nav. Maybe at the bottom you have like clicks to back to your website, right?
If it's a landing page, no,
Yep.
no.
No
If you
nav.
want to, if you want to have something going back to the website or your social channels, do it on the thank you page. So
Got
they've
it.
already converted. Now, how do you engage them next? And
The
and
fact is, y'all, I mean, at least in the Cosmo space, the average cost per lead is $60 right now on PPC. If I'm paying $60 for someone for a lead, I'm going to tell them what to do. Like, and your cost per lead is only going to go up if you have distractions for them
yeah,
to go on navigation. That's how CPLs go up, is we don't have really good landers. Um, your cost per leads will decrease if you have a really good and focused landing page. Let's go here to Academy of Hair Design. This is their website.
similar, um, similar recommendations. Something that's also worth pointing out. Um, this is going to depend on the brand guidelines, but if we can, we would want to match the phone number in the top right to the logo to the CTA button. So looking at this, if we could do them all in that gold, that would be that's worth a test to see if we can move the needle that way. On the form,
This is
um,
their request info form.
yes, um, I would. There's a lot we can do with this.
Yeah.
There's what's called a vertical progression. So right now we have first name and last name, phone and email next to each other. We'd want them just all vertical, stacked. Um, it's just the natural way that a user is going to fill out the form, and tests have shown that they're more likely to fill it out. You wouldn't need to, um, if you were going to say that the using the asterisk that they're required, you can move that to the bottom. Um, that is important to make sure that someone knows which fields are required. It looks like there's not any of them. Are you seeing
Right.
asterisks on
I'm
there?
not saying, so that
Can you
almost is
click?
useless.
Can you click the submit button to see what
Yeah.
happens?
Oh,
Okay.
so it's required. It's just,
So
mhm.
yeah, so to the point that it says on the page, we should know that within the labels. So if there's first name, or if phone number is required, we should see an asterisk in the label.
Yeah.
And then, as before we even hit the submit button, there's what's called inline validation. So if you fill it out wrong, we want to know right then and there. As you move to the next field, it'll tell you this is an invalid phone number or this isn't a proper email before we hit the submit button.
Okay.
The user gets to the thank you page for the error. It's going to lower the chance that they will resubmit, reconvert, or actually convert.
Also, I don't love this question for several reasons. How did you hear about us? One is a lot of schools have the answer to this tied to their CRM. And really, that is a terrible best practice. You want how they actually got to that page to be tied to your CRM. So if they truly did click on a Google ad, that's how they actually heard about you. Like that should be tied to your CRM. If they truly did come from your Instagram bio, that should be tied to your CRM as the source. So if you do have that question, do not have that going to the source in your CRM. And then on top of that, a lot of times this is a really great question, like an icebreaker question for admissions. Hey, do you know someone who went here? Yeah, you idiot. I answered that on the lead form yesterday. Like, oh, cool. Well, I didn't see that because that didn't go into our CRM. Like, I feel like that almost, I feel like it's a throw out question and it's pointless. What are your thoughts?
Any field you're going to add is going to potentially decrease conversions. I agree with you. It's an admission. It's better an admissions question. A lot
Yeah.
of times they're going to select the first one. And a lot of times you're not going to. They're not even going to necessarily know. And attribution is not going to be one source either.
Yeah,
So it could be multiple, and they're like, online, I guess.
absolutely. Preferred method of contact. I see this a lot.
Yeah,
But what I really see a lot is it doesn't, who cares what they say? Admissions has their own protocols.
right.
So like someone puts text and your admissions best practice is to call within 10 minutes. So why did you even ask that question? And a lot of people might put email because they just don't even want to be bothered by you. So great. So now you can't call or text them. To me, that's a throw out question as well. You're going to have your own admissions best practices regardless of what they put on here. Now, again, it's an icebreaker question for admissions. Hey, moving forward, how do you like me to contact you? Is text better or is phone call? That's a great question just to start engaging with someone. So, thoughts on that, Brian?
100%.
Cool. I love when we're aligned, but I also love when I love when there's a little fight too. So,
Oh,
let's try to get spicy next time. Let's think of something that we can disagree on for our next webinar. I don't know if you know what that would be. All right, let's go back to looking at some more TikToks. Okay. All right, let's look at T-Spa in Howell. Okay, biggest problems, not consistent. You need to post every day. A lot of their posts, like it's sporadic. They'll go a month without posting, 3 weeks without posting. Guys, it's not difficult to take your phone, shoot something, batch content so it just sits in your drafts and then hit post every day. That seems to be a problem with schools. So I would start posting. They clearly have a business account because all the music is commercial and that's not exciting. And it's like the same commercial music over and over again. So I would switch in your settings to a creator account. They also consistently pull from Instagram. Um, this is a perfect example of that. Do you see that middle one? The Salon Professional Academy. It's completely covered up by the tag, by the caption. This is what I'm talking about. This is, and look at even that third one. All that text is moved to the right side. Why? TikTok takes up the real estate on the right side. So don't do that. This is, look at that very first one. The very first one has the Instagram watermark and you're putting it on TikTok. No, TikTok's not going to push that out. They hate Instagram. They're better than Instagram. Why would they push out Instagram content? So this is what I mean, guys. We have to be creating content. Take the raw video footage and put them separate. They also do the reposting a lot of their students. Also, why is no one using playlists? I don't think I saw one school using a playlist. Here's my profile. You will see I talk a lot about jeans that are good for the body. That is a playlist. You can click that and you're going to see all my jean reviews. I talk about misophonia, which I just discovered was a word and a condition that I have where I'm very susceptible and hate like little sounds. Like I can hear little sounds that other people can't hear. And that blew up. It went viral. Even celebrities were like doing stitches to it. Anyway, anytime I talked about Me So Funny, I put that into a playlist. And the really cool thing about that is once you start one of them, it automatically goes to the next one. And so if I'm a school and let's say like I'm doing a lot of like really cool transitions or before and afters, you need to have a playlist. They're really easy to create on TikTok. I don't know why. I just don't see any schools using playlists. Um, Academy SP. What is Academy SP? What does that mean? Because you're not telling me in the bio. That should be like at least put in the name of your school in your bio. I do love the Not Your Grandma's Beauty School. I think that's super cute and cheeky. And they even have like the little grandma emoji. I think that's adorable. But I would absolutely have the name of my school right there. You need to have better branding. I see that they've had 10,000 likes. That's like how many likes they've had on all of their videos combined. So that's actually pretty high compared to other schools. If I'm a school, if I'm them, I'm going to go find my one with the most views and I'm going to pin them. I think I could even have another example from them.
No, you just sit here and say that my daughter looks miserable, so maybe we should put Kalani in her place.
No, I never said that.
Yes, you most certainly did.
No, I didn't.
Okay, they are so good at taking trending audio and doing videos with them. I would continue to do that. I would do more of that. I would bump up the text, POV, people in school are fighting. I would make that bigger and I would move it up higher into like the 1/3 area of the screen to get people's attention. So I think that would be really smart. Oh, this pains me. Paint and sip aesthetic school style. The text is being cut off. Why, Brian?
I have questions.
It's being cut off really quick. Why? Because it's from Instagram. Yeah, what are your questions?
Is there a way that schools can scale this where if they're going to repurpose and if you're going to do it in TikTok and Instagram to skip natively going into the platform, can I have an editor edit these and separately post them? And are there guides that would keep from the descriptions cutting it off or being under that right menu? Is that even an okay practice to do, or you wouldn't recommend it?
I don't even know if Canva has templates that pull that out. If they don't, they should. I haven't even looked on that. Sorry, ask that question again though. I want to make sure I fully understand.
I'm thinking of how can you make it more scalable if there's a presence on both channels? Can you use the same raw footage and not have to go in platform to edit it so that you can more streamline it where it's like, okay, I'm going to come into my editor or send it to a video editor and say, okay, here's the guide.
No, not if you want it to go viral. The thing with TikTok is that they have it's hacking the SEO on TikTok. You have to use their text if you want it to have far reach. So no, I wouldn't. In fact, a lot of creators say, and I've tested this, Brian, I have tested creating videos on my camera and then uploading that to Instagram and doing the same video on the TikTok, sorry, not Instagram, uploading it to TikTok, and then doing the same video on the TikTok app camera. Every single time I get way more spiked views by the thousands if I use the TikTok app. So I don't even create content on my camera anymore. I go straight into the TikTok app. So yeah, you can take that raw footage, but do not do the text anywhere else. I wouldn't take anything from a template. I wouldn't do it. Let me get to the questions. Is there a way to ensure your content on TikTok reaches users in your area? Great question. Yes. One is that they automatically do it. So it automatically goes to people in your area. And then depending on engagement, gets further and further out. Also, if you have a lot of your students following you that are in your area anyway, that is who will see your content. Something you can do is you can tag locations on TikTok. You can add a location when you're writing your caption, go underneath caption, it'll say add location or tag location, and you can tag your school. I would absolutely do that. That will also help with that.
What about putting location information in the description or in the text?
I just don't think it's necessary. I mean, we are using, again, TikTok as entertainment. And I just think if you're going to have text on the screen, it needs to be like a hook. It needs to be super quick and to the point. How do we figure out what is currently trending? I feel as though things are at the end of a trend when I find them. That's a really, really great question. My answer to that is you really have to hire someone to be focused on your organic social. I did a webinar about that a while ago. I have done now 2 breakout sessions about that. I don't know why schools are cheap in this area. Like this is literally the future, you guys. This is not a fad. I remember when I started in this business in like 2011 and I went to my first beauty school conference and there were speakers talking about how Facebook was a fad and I was just rolling my eyes. I was like, these idiots, a fad. And look at it today. Like it's not a fad. TikTok is not a fad. These things aren't going anywhere. You have to hire someone to do your organic social. It should be done in-house. You should be paying them. They should be, part of their job is sitting on TikTok and finding what's trending. If you can't do it right now, and if you can't afford it, get your students to create the content for you. They know what's trending. Have competitions in your school to make TikToks. And not ones that they post, ones that they send to you, that they maybe create in the app, download it. You can save things before you post it, and then you use it. I would be doing contests. I would be having students make content. I would be reposting their stuff the reposting way I told you. If you cannot afford to hire someone to do this right now, take advantage of your students. Something that you guys need to be doing is liking, commenting, engaging. That is now what the experts are saying is the best way to go viral. If you just come and post and that's it, you're not going to do well. I find my own videos do well when I'm sitting there and commenting on other people's sweater videos and Christmas videos and, oh my gosh, that's such a cute sweater, and liking stuff. TikTok likes that and they reward me with more views. So that person isn't just posting content, they're also commenting on content. The last one I'm going to do, and then we're going to finish up by sharing the rest of the landers, is ATI University. The Instagram is really, really good, but they use a lot of their own content on here. Oh my gosh, my dog. I'm going to have to like step away here in a second. You will see there's a logo at the top left. No, to get that down. You don't need to like brand stuff. It doesn't look authentic. It doesn't look good. It's not engaging. Okay. I'm going to stop my share here and then I'm going to go back to some landers. And then while you're going over the first one, I think I'm just going to have to quickly give my dogs a snack so they'll let me get through. I give them beans every single day at noon, and it's like 5 minutes to noon. Ah! Okay, Brian, I'm going to bring this one up, and I'm going to walk away for 1 minute as you're walking everyone through it.
Cool. Yeah.
So,
is there a way to give me the keyboard?
are you good? Oh, no, it's not going to give you the keyboard, but if you could just talk through this, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's worth pointing out, I mentioned this in the previous one, that they did match the gold phone number to the logo. The CTA, I believe, is black. I would want to test reversing colors in the form so that it's the CTA that's gold and the background, making the background of the form white and the text black. Have you always loved fashion and beauty? I'd want to know a little bit more of what that means and why I'm here. Again, remove the top nav. Let's see. Something that I think is more in the beauty schools is having stock photos or more polished photos. If we could get more authentic students in there, and similar to what you might more associate with a TikTok or social, having actual students in there. And that also does fall into, if we scroll down, let's see if they have it, some social proof. There you go.
Okay.
So right there, have a picture of Chrissy if possible. Um, that's a good thing to have for your building trust.
I'm with you. I always call them yearbook photos. I don't know why so many beauty schools take like these, like this. You guys aren't a modeling agency. You're a beauty school. Like, have a great picture of a student working on a doll head, working on a mannequin, and a teacher standing behind them. Like, that's painting a picture for your future student of what they're going to be doing. That is way more relatable than something like this. So I love that you brought that up. I think photos are like a really easy fix for schools that have a huge impact.
Oh, actually, going right back, something I just noticed.
Yeah,
I do love that she's looking directly at the CTA.
yeah, that's good.
That's helpful. And my question for you is learning how to enroll questions that prospective students are asking for. And if it's not, I would consider using maybe the verbiage they would use or a different CTA that they're looking for.
Okay. Oh, and it does do the phone number thing. And does, okay, okay, okay.
Awesome.
All right, let's go to this one.
So, above the fold, which basically just means the what you can see when you arrive at the page before you scroll,
Yeah.
is super, like, your most critical information should be on here. So, right now we got the nav at the bottom, which doesn't tell us much, and no description of where we even made it to other than the name of the school. So I would definitely want a value prop on there.
Woo,
Uh,
that is a heavy form.
yeah.
Who's going to help you pay for school? Well, just ask them everything, guys. Ask them who they're dating. I think this is asking too many questions. I really do. Even when would you like to start? I mean,
Yeah.
whoa. Admissions. You're doing this is like you were doing all the work of admissions right now. Don't even pay your rep. Pay them half right now because this form is doing half the work for you. That's my thoughts. Um,
Yep. I
also, what is your thoughts on this? The haunted runway up here.
if the theme, so if it looks like this is more the website, actually.
No, I
Oh,
don't.
okay. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay. So they're using tracking parameters in the URL. So it does look like it's off their main website, and they might be making it dynamic based on the URL. But
Okay.
either way, the if the uh yeah, if it's October to have a Halloween theme,
Here's my
um
thing though. That's student specific. That's something going on in the school. That is not helpful to getting. If the point of your landing page is to get more enrollments, this is such a waste of good space.
it comes back to the question of why did they come here?
Yeah. Yeah. So
There
we
was
have,
something about that form that I wanted to point out too. Go down the submit button. Submit is, if there is a last option that I absolutely would not do, it would be leaving it as submit.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Oh, and confirm the email. That's if you're getting their number and you're getting their email even being probably less important. That's might be redundant. I typically don't see that on landing pages.
Yeah, I've never seen that before either. That's a good point. I didn't
I've
even
seen
know.
that there are a few that I've seen in the examples that we've reviewed for the landing pages that have that.
So probably not necessary. Oh, we're running out of time. We might go over. Oh well. Okay, this one.
Okay,
Everyone
this
loves a chat. Everyone just loves a chat up in my face. All right.
if this is a landing page, which it isn't, it's the main website, I would remove that carousel that's moving. It is, I don't know where to even look first here. And the background images with the white text over it is kind of clutters that as well. Um, I would recommend specifically for this site, but in general, looking into ADA. So for accessibility, there's a plugin called Wave that you can get for Chrome, and it'll tell you exactly which portions are need help. So ADA, we want to look at color contrast between the text and the background. It's also going to be related to size, and that all will even just making it contrast makes it easier for the user to process the information as well to increase conversion. So it's good for accessibility, is also good for conversions.
Brian, what is this?
A PDF or a embedded document.
It looks like the full catalog, or no, maybe just a few pages from it. Okay, that's an odd choice to put on a homepage, like so close to the, like right there. I would have like icons, like something that social proof, have a testimonial, wouldn't do that there. Let me go back up. Top cosmetology school in South Carolina. I feel like compliance wise, you just can't write that. If there is like an award specifically with quotes and saying where it's from, that's different. Voted best cosmetology in South Carolina by ABC Beauty Magazine. But you can't just like make claims like this in the school space with compliance. Someone says, what should you put in the place of submit? Like request info now, that kind of thing, right?
You got it.
Cool. All right. I know we're a little over, but I want to make sure I get to everyone.
This stood out as a good one. It does have the confirm email, and the send me info. If so, the I talked myself out of
That's a
send me
big
info.
beauty school one. Don't
Yeah,
start beefing with my beauty school crowd. I'm just that is a big one. There's a couple like really big agencies in this space where like that is their go-to verbiage. I feel like
interesting.
send me info is like the top one I see.
Okay, so it
Send me
might just be the like more conversational, casual. If it's in the ad, if you're putting that in the ad, yes. If it's not, then I would test matching your CTA in the ad.
Okay. Anything else about this?
I think it's actually a really good example for best practices overall. I remember looking at this one.
There's some good stuff on here. Let me see if I missed anyone. I think I might have got everyone. Oh, then they also had their SD page, so probably very similar. Is there a way to ensure your content is targeted to users in your area? Are you talking specifically about social? I answered that a few minutes ago. If you're talking specifically about social, then yes, by adding tags, and social naturally does that anyway. Google, I mean, obviously zip codes with your PPC campaign. Maybe I understood that correctly. Okay, perfect. All right, we are right here at the end. Wow, we still have like most everyone on. If anyone has any more questions, we will stay on for another minute or two. Pop them in the chat. This was very helpful. I hope you guys learned a lot. I know it's kind of a little all over the place, but that's just how Brian and I are. We're like popcorn, like just kind of going back and forth. Any parting words for our group? How can people connect with you, Brian, or with MDT?
Yeah, definitely. I'll throw that in the chat, and definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll have related content throughout the week, and next week I'll have an ultimate guide on the landing page user experience.
Oh, that's awesome. And perfect. And then make sure you add that to on the drop down that it can go to everyone so we can all see it. Guys, this was really, really good. I really enjoyed having you. Brian, thank you. Brian and I have been on a couple podcasts together, and it was really good just for it to be the two of us where we can chat. And by the way, a couple people still want to be audited. So let's just go back to auditing super quick. Go.
Jen, by the way, I'm not able to send to the whole chat for some reason, so I'm just going to send it to the hosts and panelists if you don't mind.
And then Perfect. Angie, if you're able to repost that, because I can't, because I'm sharing my screen right now. But if not, in our follow-up email tomorrow, Brian will put your personal information to your LinkedIn account. Everyone will get a recording to this tomorrow. Couple more audits right here. Go.
Cool.
I like the colors.
I like the colors too. I mentioned before I like that I would make the request info, keep it the same color. It matches the logo. Change the other links to a secondary color.
Okay.
If it is a landing page,
This looks
actually
like
just
your
remove
website.
all links. But
Yeah.
the point to that is you want your CTA to stand out beyond the rest. If phone numbers are important, definitely have them in the top right. Yeah, that form is long. If there's a program specific page that they're arriving on, so if this isn't the website and they're searching for a specific program, you can hard code the program so they don't have to select it on the form. One less step, easier just for them to convert. Um,
Instead of
Vertical.
radio buttons, don't you think that should be dropped
You
down?
it should be drop down if it's more of a general brand page where they haven't arrived at a program, but if the page has the program, don't even have it on there.
And then any of your compliance verbiage on a form, have that already pre-selected for them where they can unselect it. You want them automatically to be opting into your stuff. So have that pre-selected, and I would change send.
Agreed.
All right, I think we had another one. There we go.
The first thing on that one is I'd want to put the number in the top right.
Okay.
Exactly where the one is right here. Um, this is a great way to show what the primary CTA is if we're just looking at it from a home page instead of a landing page. With the phone number being pink, I would see if it matches your brand guidelines, if we can make the logo on the top left match that color.
Oh, I like the photos of like the students here. I think that's super cute.
Exactly what we talked about on a previous one. Oh, interesting. Okay.
We have a
Um,
back vertical thing. Ooh, send me info. Let's go, beauty schools. That's what we do.
yeah. Now the forms, your future starts here. Send me info. That's fine. Um,
I think overall it's
yeah,
decent.
yeah.
Wait, that's the same one. Wait, maybe that was everything. Let me go back to chat. Oh, we just got another one. Oh, wait, we did have another one. We had, okay, I got two more for us.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's a tough one when there's going to be multiple numbers for or different numbers for each location.
It's
Um,
almost good to have like I worked for a multi-locational school and we had like an 800 number where then you would press one for Cedar Rapids, press two for Davenport. Like
right.
something like that might be more helpful. Wait, let me go back to this. Did we already do this one? No. Okay. I'm gonna save that one. Okay.
Okay. Contrast issues. I'd probably have a background on those CTA buttons, view programs or request info.
Yeah, because
Definitely
you
make
don't know their buttons.
Yeah, and they're getting lost in the image as well.
Well,
I like
I
the I
don't
want go ahead. Hey, I like that it says I want answers.
I
It's
don't like that
attention grabbing.
I don't like that there's three columns.
Yeah,
Is that weird on it? That's
it
not
is.
yeah,
I
okay.
agree. And
Um,
typically you would want your form on the right side, just in following best practice where people expect it to be.
Also, Becky, just to answer your question, we don't recommend removing navigation on a website. We recommend moving navigation on a landing page. Very, very different. If you're
Thanks
paying
for
for
clarifying
Google
that.
ads, yeah, we're paying for Google ads. We are wanting them to fill out a form. So we're taking away all distractions. If it is your website, yeah, keep as is. But let's talk about the form. And I'm assuming if I just hit request info, it takes me to that I want answers form. Okay. Let's talk about the form itself. First of all, huge. This is taking up a full page. Okay.
This is matching most of of what we previously mentioned. Can you go to
If
the
they're
top?
choosing a campus, by the way, we probably don't need their zip. Just like the more fields you have, the less likely they are to fill it out, which if you want to keep it, fine. But like when they come in for their tour, they usually have an interest form where we're going to get their full address and we're going to get everything anyway. Best way to reach you. Oh, this is just where they type it
Just
in.
an open text. Yeah.
I don't care what they put here. Your reps are supposed to call and text. So it doesn't even matter. Again, I would take that out. I like that. They can choose a program. Listen, if you have multi programs, you have a drop down so that you can send them specific information about a program and that you can have really good follow-ups about like, hey, saw you were interested in our Cosmo program. We just added eyelash extensions or, whatever. I feel like you have better outreach strategies if you know what program they're interested in. We talked about this, about the source. Anything else?
Can you scroll to the top one more time for me?
Yeah.
Okay. I just missed what the title was. That's fine.
Okay, let's go to this one.
Something that's I guess worth pointing out. I like that they matched I want answers from it was consistent from the form there. So if they did click request info, that they know they've made it to the right form if they're going off page.
Yeah. All right,
Again, phone number top right if possible. We got the social proof on there. We can add photos. That would be great.
all right, let's see where apply now goes versus request info goes.
By the way, I would have failed that request text shown
Oh,
captcha. There we go. That one looks like it
okay.
loaded.
Here's request a tour. I mean, I just think having a better like lead form that's nicely designed with the vertical fields, as opposed to like a full page or something just sort of looks better. I also wouldn't put requested to, I don't love, wait, is that their call to action though? It is request a tour. Okay, let me go back to the home site really quick. Okay, so we have learn more or request a tour. I'm just looking at calls to action. Learn more takes you to about them. And then there's a contact us, which you can phone, email. I would have a contact us
form, yeah.
Yeah, form. I mean, I'd have
similar to what I said on the previous site. I like that the request the tour button has request the tour at the top of the page they make it to. If you're going off page, the send me a copy, I wonder if that's redundant, being that I would expect to receive some kind of automated response and confirmation in an email.
You also need to have like
TCPA compliance.
Yeah. You have to have the opt-in.
If you're going to text them, especially.
And even request a tour sounds like you're like, hey, let's go on a date. Like, I'd rather it be something a little more like less off-putting, like get some info, like make it a little more top level, and then have your admissions rep talk about get to know them over the phone, build rapport, and then great, the next step toward enrollment is a free tour of our school where we're going to show you around, answer questions. I just wonder how many people you're turning off from filling out a form because you're jumping straight to the tour. So you may want to A/B test that with something a little less intimidating. I hope that makes sense.
Easier ask.
All right. We went 15 minutes over. And we still got people on. So we appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We are going to be at AACS Annual at the end of, I guess that's next week. Woo, we're going to be at the AACS Annual next week. And then Morgan and I will also be at C-SPAN right after. So if you're coming to one of the events, definitely stop by our booth, meet up with us. Brian, this was great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Jen. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. All right. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.